Hey, welcome to the Preacher Dad podcast. My name is Jared, and I am the Preacher Dad, but today I sound like a cheap version of Sam Elliott. So I'm going to talk to you as if it was him endorsing the show. Sam, take it away. Well, thank you, Preacher Dad. I just want you guys to know that this podcast is a good one, because we're about to go forward with Fatherhood Friday. And on this episode of Fatherhood Friday, we're going to talk about the backyard. What can you do with your backyard? What's important? What's not important? What do these guys do? And is it possible to cook a pizza on a grill? We're going to talk about all of that today on the Preacher Dad podcast, and I hope you'll stick around. But before you go, please remember, this here podcast is brought to you by Cornerstone Fellowship. Cornerstone Fellowship's a little church with a big heart out in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. And they would love to love on you. And I would love to go there if I was really Sam Elliott. But I hope that you will come and check out Cornerstone Fellowship if you're ever just a little north of Toomsboro, Georgia. And if you want to check them out online, you can go to cornerstonefellowship-ga.org. cornerstonefellowship-ga.org. And they would love to love on you because they love Jesus, and that's what Jesus does for you. He loves you. All right, let's start Fatherhood Friday. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fatherhood Friday. My name is Jared, and I am the Preacher Dad. I'm the host of the Preacher Dad podcast, and this is our Fatherhood Friday episode. We have our panel of illustrious dads here tonight, Mr. Matt Stewart, Mr. Nate Eisner, and Mr. Tony Russell. And these guys are going to bring their fatherhood experiences to today's episode. We got a fun one for you today. We're going to talk about our backyards. And what sort of things do we do in our backyards, and why are they important, and what kind of priority should a dad have on his backyard? So I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Matt Stewart to get us started today. Matt, tell us about your backyard.
All right. So, pretty new to this house. We've lived here almost 2 years. And as we were looking for houses, we kept that in mind. You know, we definitely wanted some space to get to garden and do some animals, and also have plenty of places to play as well. So I think it's really important just to have a balance, right? I mean, quick story, like I live with my in-laws, or we live together in a house, and they want the yards to be really pretty and flower beds and no weeds in the yard. But I'm like, look, we have kids, we're going to mess things up. Like we can't spend too much money on that. So it's okay to want a beautiful yard. Beauty is good, but we don't want to do that too much that takes away from our kids and stuff. But yeah, so we try to have a fun yard. The more fun we can have inside and outside of our home, the more our kids will want to stay and not leave and go over to friends, you know. So yeah, we have a zip line that's right next to the little tree house that we built. That goes, it's through the woods, going in between trees all the way through the woods. So that's fun. Have a little playhouse as well. We try to do, like, you know, slip and slides. We have a big enough yard we can play kickball. You know, we try to do a lot of different things like that. We have chickens just on the outside of the yard and the edge of the woods. And also in the back of the yard. I can't get too close to the house. My wife doesn't like that. But just on the edge of the yard is where I have my deer processing place. And so,
so we try to do a building for deer processing.
I do have like a walk-in refrigerator, but it's cooled.
Industrial.
Well, no, it's cooled by a window unit, like a regular AC window unit. It's hooked up to a cool bite. And the cool bite tells the AC unit to keep running. It's like, it's not cold enough, keep running. And it gets it down below 40 degrees. Because we know that temperature danger zone is what? What can it not get above?
It can't
41?
get above
40?
140 or below 40.
Exactly. So we keep that temperature below 40. But then yes, I've got that in my yard, and then right behind that I've got my skinning rack. Hangs the deer up, and also pigs too. So that's kind of the thing. Some of the things we do. What about y'all?
Nate, what do you do in your backyard?
Currently, I keep the grass cut down really short. We've only been there like 2 months, 3 months. So we have a trampoline that we've not set up. I don't have my rabbits anymore. So our yard's, I'll tell you, okay, here's what we do in our yard. We watch the deer come and eat every day. So the other morning we woke up and there were 6 deer. There were 3 does and 3 babies. And it was great to watch them. The girls loved it. They were there for probably an hour total, and they kept leaving and coming back. And the babies would, run around like a dog that just got out of the bath. I don't know if y'all's dogs ever did that, but you give them a bath and they run around like a maniac for 30 minutes. But that's what the little baby doe is doing. But right now, it's about it. So no, my girls like to play outside. We blow bubbles. We just got a little bubble machine that blows a continuous stream of bubbles. Trying to get them introduced to bikes and tricycles, which is hard with gravel and grass. But hey, you got to start somewhere, and at least the grass is good for not getting skinned knees and stuff like that. But now we go on walks. We got a nice long private driveway. So we walk them down there a good bit.
Hey, Nate, how much room do you have in your backyard?
Right now, I've got about an acre to acre and a half that's cleared.
Okay.
And then we have 11 acres of woods. So,
Okay.
So we got some room. I've actually yet to walk, more than 30 feet out in the woods, beyond the tree line. But right now it's just full of poison ivy and undergrowth. So I'm kind of waiting for that to die down before we go out there. But
So Nate, first of all, your daughter was really excited about those deer because she was telling me about it the other day. They're running here, they're running there. And she was really excited. So that's good that she got to see it. But
yeah.
So yeah, I know you're new to this place, but what's your ideal yard look like?
What does my ideal yard look like?
Yeah.
So really, I mean, this particular property is what we always wanted. About an acre cleared and the rest woods. It's private. So I like the idea of having a blank canvas, and that's pretty much what we got. So right now it's kind of boring, if you will, where, we don't have any toys set up and fun stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I've got somewhat of a history with animals, small animals, but that's something we'd like to do in the future potentially. Somewhere where
Like
I can hunt.
chickens and rabbits and stuff?
Yeah. I'll be honest, right now, with 2 young kids and a full-time job and serving heavily at church, I'm exhausted. So I think animals are out for the time being. It was one of those things we were like, oh my gosh. We're like, oh my gosh, we have land, we can get animals. And now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go feed rabbits and chickens and all that good stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. We're going to give that one some time. But no, I know my girls love to swing. When they go to my parents, they always like to go out on their swing set. My oldest loves the trampoline, so she's excited to get that set up. They like to swim, so I'm sure we'll end up with a pool at some point. So they both my kids love being outside. If I have to run out to my car for 5 seconds to go grab something, both of them are right there by my hip, trying to get me to take them with them. So they love going outside. So I'm excited for it to cool off a little bit so we can go look at stars in the evening because it's real dark where we're at. So that's one of my favorite things to do, but it's been a little humid.
That's cool.
Hey, I forgot to mention too, obviously shooting. That's
Oh
fun.
yeah. Now
BB guns, 22s, pistols, whatever.
That's where I'm trying to my backyard, or so my back in the woods. There's this big old ravine that runs down, and from what I can tell, I want to walk back there to make sure, but I think I actually have a pretty decent hill that would act as a backstop and not be dangerous to go beyond a property behind me. And so once I can walk out there and confirm that, I might get some targets set up because that'd be a really good shooting lane. So
Awesome.
haven't had a chance to shoot, consistently in a long time, just for not having the space to do it. And indoor shooting ranges are expensive, and I hate them because they're dangerous and people are stupid there all the time. So
Yeah.
It's not as fun when it's $1 a round too. So it's
that's also not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey Matt, how much backyard you working with?
So, well, I kind of cheated, and I'm talking about some of the front yard as well, because my backyard is really tiny. Um,
You're breaking the rules. That's it. Cut him
I
out.
know, I'm sorry, but I've
not a
cleared
deer hunter
off.
anymore.
But I've cleared off, like I said, right behind my yard, which isn't but like 20, maybe 15 yards from my house. So it's really not that much. I've got a garden on one side, and behind that, though, I've cleared out a big area, and that's where the kids have a swing, and that's where the chickens are. That's where the pigs were, um, behind the house. So the whole yard is probably about an acre, front and back. By the way, swings, we've got this fun swing that I'm not sure if y'all have seen it or not. It's called I think a swerfer. Ever heard of a swerfer swing? It's a board. It's like 6 inches wide, maybe 8 inches wide, and it's kind of shaped like either like a surfboard or a skateboard. And you got two ropes going up to a tree, and you stand on it and hold on to the handles, and you just start going back and forth, and you get going so fast, and you can start going in circles. And so the kids do it by themselves. And so it's pretty fun. You really need one of those big trees you see in people's front yards. You got the big, like huge, like low limbs, that go out. We did not have that. So I got on my tree climber that I use for deer hunting, and I climbed up two pine trees and tied a cable, and then ran the cable across to the trees and hooked the swing to it. And it's a fun swing, even for an
Yeah.
adult.
And that brings us to our next sponsor for this particular podcast is Swiffer Swings. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
think that's the name of it. Let me check.
But I mean,
Go
if
ahead.
they want to sponsor us, hey, we'll test those swings out. If you want a sponsorship, all 10 people that listen to this podcast will probably buy one. So
It's called a swerfer. I'm not sure what I said, but a swerfer.
a swerfer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Swerfer. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Hey, adventurers, ready to level up your outdoor game? At Goose Feet Gear, they're committed to keeping you crazy warm without weighing you down. I've known the founder and owner, Ben Smith, for nearly 2 decades, and his commitment to quality is outstanding. Their custom down socks, jackets, and pants are made in the USA and packed with premium 850-plus fill power goose down. Perfect for backpacking, camping, or hunting. Tailored to you with 10% off if you use the promo code FATHERHOOD. Check out goosefeetgear.com and feel the ultralight difference. That's goosefeetgear.com.
All right, Tony, what is in your backyard?
Oh, my backyard is basically a field of dreams right now. It's Nate, you're talking about how you keep yours nicely mowed. I don't even do that most of the time. But
Yeah, you should see what it looks like before I cut it down.
we do like to do outdoorsy stuff whenever it's not 100 million degrees here, or the mosquitoes aren't trying to carry our dog away. There's where we kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, which is quite intentional as well. And we don't have quite that much land. I think we have just over like an acre and a half of cleared land that's usable. Some of that though is completely covered up with brushes and stuff like that because it's not been tended to in a while. But there's a huge amount of wildlife that live in and around our house that are always fun to watch. And we got a lot of good window coverage, especially of our backyard where we're kind of against a wood line, and everything it's very alive back there. So every now and then you'll see a turtle running across the yard. Our dog will usually alert us to that. We've seen big giant black snakes crawling up and around the trees back there. Deer, turkey. I actually have a pretty wild video I should send you guys sometime of a hawk that got entangled with a black snake.
You sent
And I
that
had
to
to-
us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It
have you
was
seen
like
them?
three
Yeah,
parts. Yeah, three-parter.
yeah. I had to save both of them because they're both too stupid to figure out how to kill each other. So that was quite exciting. But
And that was
that's
stupid
cool.
because that's stupid because you got hurt at the end, right?
I did. I got bit and clawed by the
Yeah.
stupid hawk that I was trying to save.
Yeah.
Put its talon right through my
What you
thumb.
get for trying to be a good shepherd of nature, you know?
Yeah. Well, none of us won in that whole thing. We all three lost. But there's some fun stuff like that. My kids love it, especially my son. He loves picking up bugs and lizards and all kinds of stuff all the time. He really enjoys being outside. He's always looking for some critter to play with whenever he's out there, which is kind of one of the fun aspects of nature. I think especially for boys, like there's just some connection there that's just innate and automatic. Like the first time you see a lizard skitter up a tree, like that's the only thing you're thinking about until you're holding it in your hand. You know, you there's a lock on that. So I don't know, it's cheap, easy entertainment. um, my daughter, you know, she tries to keep up with my son a good bit, and it's kind of funny because like when it comes to like grabbing stuff out of the water, like fish or bugs or things like that, she's fearless. She's right in there all the time. Crabs, it doesn't matter. Whenever we go to the beach, we go crabbing at night, and she'll pick them up and play with them. She doesn't care. My son is terrified of it. And the opposite is true of land animals. So if there's like lizards or snakes or things like that, my son, you'd think he'd been a Pentecostal his whole life. But my daughter won't have anything to do with it though. So it's fun because
She's a good
they both have
Presbyterian.
yeah, yeah. They have good strengths and weaknesses to complement each other, but it gives them a lot of fun because they're always looking to try to find the thing that'll terrorize the other one. So they're chasing each other with snails and frogs and stuff. They have fun. But long term, like I would love to have chickens, maybe some goats. I don't know, a couple different types of animals out there that are producing animals that we could use for food supplement and stuff like that. But I'm with Nate on that one. I don't see enough hours in the day to be able to make something like that feasible, at least until all my kids are gone, which takes away part of why I want all those things. There's there's a lot of education that can come from outdoor nature itself or outdoor projects or whatever the case may be. We do bonfires anytime it starts getting into fall and autumn season, and all the mosquitoes have gone back to hell where they belong. We can enjoy the outside a little bit more. So we love to burn stuff. That's a lot of fun. Bonfires is a lot of fun, but that turned into a great learning opportunity for my son. Okay, this is how you have to use a splitting maul to split these logs out. And I know you're 10 and can barely lift a 10-pound sledge on this thing. So be very careful with your form. Let's learn that first. But it was, I mean, I think that was probably the first real thing where, after he chopped a chunk of wood for about 30, 40 chops, it finally split in half, where he was really excited about doing something like, hey, I accomplished a thing. I exerted, childlike rage onto this log, and now we can use it for a fire. It's cool to see that sense of like, I've just done a productive, valuable thing hop into their minds. They do them all the time with chores around the house, but it was one that was a challenge he wanted to conquer instead of one that he was told to conquer. So it's fun. You can see those types of things. Not only let him use a chainsaw yet, maybe when he's 12, but definitely not when he's 11. Too young for a chainsaw. But there are other things like I want to build a deck out there. I want to build a paver patio and stuff. Things that I learned how to do when I was a younger man, working and trying to make a living. I would love to be able to turn those into skills and trades and stuff that I can, pass along to my son. Not because I think that he would necessarily ever use any of those things to make a living, but you can use a lot of those things to start learning a lot of basic handyman stuff for repairing things around the house, for learning how to spot excellence in other people's work versus taking shortcuts, learning why it's important to do the parts that people don't see very, very, very well, because that's structural and the whole thing will fall apart if you don't do it very well. But there's a lot of good lessons that you can use that stuff for And I would like to be able to, hopefully over the next decade or so that I have with my son before he moves out of the house, try to be able to use the outdoor space as a teaching space, and bring him along for all the various different projects I envision and would love to do out there. I think doing them with him would be a huge opportunity for him to learn and for us to bond.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in your yard. And I think that dads do a disservice to their children if they're constantly inside. If they're always either watching a movie or playing a game or, a lot of dads do that. And so their kids are being raised by iPads or, televisions. They're always in front of a screen if they're not doing homework. But when are they going outside to spend time in the grass or dig a hole or what have you? Dads need to think about their backyard spaces or their front yard spaces, wherever it is, and use those things to their greatest advantage, because there's a lot of opportunity for doing fun things together in the yard. And me and my kids, we spend lots of time in the yard playing or working. I in anticipation for this episode, I actually asked my kids. I said, "What would you think should be in a backyard? What should be in a backyard?" And one of the very first responses was a treehouse and a swing. My 16-year-old daughter immediately said, "A treehouse and a swing." But that's your basic building blocks for a great backyard. And I thought that was an interesting response. And swings have always been important in our life. Our kids are adventurous and they like to swing really high. In fact, I one time had a swing hanging from a tree in our backyard, and this was when we lived on Forest Ford Road.
Yeah,
I think some of you guys came to that house.
Yeah.
And we had a big sycamore tree in the backyard, and we didn't have a lot of the backyard. I mean, we had about a quarter of an acre lot, maybe half. It wasn't very much. And that was everything together. So the backyard wasn't huge, but there was this big old tree. We managed to get a rope swing that had about, I don't know, Matt, was it like 30 feet of rope maybe?
Yeah,
it
was long, yeah.
And you could get those kids going so high. They were 15 feet in the air and they were just loving it. But a treehouse, that was one of the first places we were able to get a treehouse built. And that's, I think, a really valuable thing to have in your yard. That is, it's fun building it, and then it's fun playing in it. And so we're working on one here on our homestead as well, which is like the best, most elaborate, biggest treehouse that I have ever tried to build.
You're talking about fun swings. Have y'all ever tried a mountain swing or a hill swing? You know what I'm talking about? So it's a swing that's on the side of a very steep hill or long hill. So there's a place that we went to. We went growing up where our family reunion was held, and it was right on the edge of West Virginia in the mountains. And they had probably a rope that's probably similar to what you're talking about 30 feet. But you would start out, they had built a ramp that you could back up on. And so the farther back, the farther out you would go. But because it's on the side of the hill, every foot that you would go out, it would compound how high you were, because that, you're going higher and the hill is getting lower the farther out you swing. It's exhilarating.
That sounds like a good idea.
Jared, as you were talking, I was thinking a couple things. One, as a homeschooling family, you can take care of your science lessons by keeping the kids outside. Yeah. Garden, animals, whatever. And we do that a lot.
Well, actually, it's funny you should mention that, because as we've been working on the treehouse, one of our uncles actually got the kids to do a math lesson related to the angle that the ladder should be to be the safest and most secure. And he had them diagram the whole thing, and he said the first one to get it right gets a reward or something like that. And so it was a whole trigonometry lesson or something like that. I don't know very much about math. I don't know if it's trigonometry or geometry, whatever. But he had this whole lesson he taught them, and they learned some math stuff just from the treehouse.
I don't know where she learned it. My oldest thinks that poop is the funniest thing, and so I'm sure that we're going to be going around and identifying the different types of animal, droppings in my yard, because We just figured out the other day that this one we got in our garage is in fact lizard, not snake. So, so yeah, I'm sure we'll incorporate that into the homeschool lessons there.
That's you had me going at the beginning there. I wasn't sure where that direction was going, but because finding poop funny is, I mean, that's universal. It's funny, but turning it into like a scat lesson and learning how to figure out where your prey is, that's cool. That's a good way to use something funny for food.
That's right.
Jared, when you were talking earlier about we just need to keep the kids outside as much as possible instead of iPads or whatever, I was thinking, and I'm sure for most of us men, looking back, our best memories probably were outside, right?
Yeah.
I mean, mine was, I think about, hunting and fishing with my dad or camping and even just doing stuff in the yard. I don't, there's no really good memories from inside. I mean, I watched Home Improvement. I mean,
you watched Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, like with my family though, I guess I'm thinking like, we watched Home Improvements. That was one in the Atlanta Braves is about all we watched inside. But it is important to get out there and create those good memories for the kids, especially the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that everybody's had a chance to think about their backyards. Some of the other comments I got tonight were kind of interesting. Several of the kids said you need an underground tunnel that leads into the house and right up to the tree house so that you never have to walk on the yard to get into the tree house. That's what you need. And then they started thinking about, hey, you need an underground grill and you need an underground basketball court. And, they started thinking about all these subterranean things. Apparently that was the big popular thing. But I think we should have grills in the backyard. I think dads should learn how to cook on the grill. I think that's valuable, important. Yep. Some of my best memories of my dad are the things that he cooked on the grill. And I love to do it for my family. And in fact, my wife has learned how to make pizza on a grill. That is amazing to me. But she can, if the oven's not working, she can make a pizza on the grill. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. I sure appreciate hearing your thoughts about outdoor parenting, how to utilize your backyard, and that's just something really valuable. So I hope you dads, and maybe if there's any moms out there that you're thinking about the same thing, and if you need some advice or tips, just email us at jared@preacherdad.com. Or if you have a question, or if you have, an idea for how to give us plenty of money for this podcast, that would be great too. jared@preacherdad.com. But seriously, we really would love to hear your comments. You can comment on this video. Please subscribe if you're watching on a video platform. But also, if you're just listening in an audio medium, we would love it for you to subscribe so that you can get each episode when it comes out. We're working hard to make sure we have a new one every Friday, and you can start your weekend with something to think about, maybe a laugh or two. And we would love to hear from you if you are being blessed by the things we're sharing with you. Yes, sir, Mr. Matt.
Do you have a joke for us, Jared?
Do I have a joke?
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry.
Asking the teacher for homework.
I've got some dad jokes.
Nate's got one. Go ahead, Nate.
All right, let's see. I just read these today. This would be perfect. No, these are all Star Wars dad jokes.
So bring it.
Check out.
All right, let's see.
Matt's not even going to get these.
No, I'm not.
All right, we'll start with the harder one first. I think I got two. I'll throw two at you. All right, so what did the Jedi say when he walked into the hotel? One room for 2 nights.
One room for 2 nights.
KNIGHTS. Jedi Knights. All right, last one. Why did Princess Leia change her hairstyle when she visited the planet Hoth? Because she was freezing her buns off.
Yeah, that was not that great, but it was okay.
I think Jared's are better.
That's bad, Nate. If Matt likes mine better than yours, that's rough.
I didn't say they were good. I said I had 2 jokes.
Thank you. Preach. You're preaching the choir, brother. Okay, I got one. How much does a hipster weigh? An Instagram.
Matt, this is your fault. I blame you, Matt.
Oh boy. Well,
Hey, can we just have free for all with jokes? Have I ever told the story about the Marine at the White House?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, this is more of a story format, but yeah, there's this old retired Marine, and he went up to the White House, and there was a guard standing at the gate, and the Marine said to the guard, "I'm here to see Mr. Biden." The guard says, "Sir, Mr. Biden does not live here anymore." The old man nodded his head and he walked off. He came back the next day and he said, "I'm here to see Mr. Biden." He said, "Sir, I told you yesterday, Mr. Biden does not live here anymore." The old Marine nodded his head and came back and proceeded to do this every day for a week. And finally, the guard at the gate said, "Sir, I've told you 5 times, Mr. Biden does not live here anymore." And the Marine said, "I know. I'd just like to hear you say it."
That's great.
I like that one. Tony, you got one you want to throw out there?
No, we got to end on the high note there. I'm not gonna mess that up.
I like it. Okay, end on a high note. Well, thank you guys, and sure appreciate all of you and your senses of humor, and even those of you that love a inferior football team. We love you too. You're so great, and we look forward to more conversations in the future. So thank you all for listening, and please listen again next week on Fatherhood Friday. We'll see y'all later. Bye.